I'm Mike O'Dowd with USCCA, and I'm here with my good friend Sapao. He is the owner of Cabrinha Jiu-Jitsu in San Bernardino. He's a black belt at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's also a really, really accomplished boxer. It's awesome to have you. Today we are going to be testing two of Eberlestock's newest bags from their Fade Series. The Fade Brief, which is a replacement from the old briefcase that we tested before that I personally use. And then we're also going to be testing the Fade Sling bag, so a sling that goes over the shoulder. And we're going to be putting them through a series of tests, like the 21-foot rule, snatch and grab, and a couple others. And we're going to find out how easy it is to get your weapon out of the concealed carry bags while under a tremendous amount of stress. Please keep in mind, we are trained professionals, and we've spent our whole lives in martial arts and combat sports and combat in general. Do not attempt any of this at home. We are going to take some heavy, heavy hits, me especially. He is wearing a padded suit, but it really hurts to get hit. You know, any portion of the suit, it actually hurts. So don't try this at home. Take our word for it or another professional's word for it. Sapao and I both train a lot of combatives. We train a lot of fighting with our concealed carry weapons. And you know, I know you train a lot of men and women how to defend themselves with and without weapons. Yeah. What are some of the things that you see, I guess, pertaining to all CCW, but also with off-body bags?
With the off-body bags, I just think it's a flight or fight moment, and they tend to be not using their skill set that they've trained to create the distance, because the distance is going to allow you the time to properly open bags, retrieve your weapon, and present. Without that space, if I pull it out in a close distance, that becomes even more problemsome. Now we're fighting for the weapon, not just the bag and whatever's in it. Not that that matters, but they tend to lock up or freeze or be so isolated in their mindset of the bag, yeah, not creating space and getting away from the problem. So that's one of the major issues that I always see in training.
Yeah, I know from my personal experience when Zach and Angel in our previous video that you guys should definitely watch before this one is previous video, Zach and Angel sometimes tag teaming me or beating me in the head so badly that I want to go for the gun, but I'm taking such heavy shots to the head that I have no choice but to cover up. And it kind of left me in a state of, well, I can't move because I'm being pinned down. And if I go for the gun, I'm getting pummeled in the head. And if I fight back, then I'm losing the gun. So there were really incredible challenges to face, and also like the decisions to make. Space is number one importance. I have to create space, but when I couldn't create space, the way to create space is fighting. Yes. So the idea of letting your bag just sit there while you fight, it is something you have to train through. It's not intuitive. Intuitively, you want to grab and protect that bag, yes, and protect that weapon. So this is off-body bags. You shouldn't say no or yes to an off-body, yes, bag. You should train them and form your own opinion on this. Right. How do you typically carry?
I typically carry on person, but if I wear gym clothes, if I'm going to jiu-jitsu or boxing, I have lighter shorts. I can't necessarily carry a heavier weapon on me. So I have to carry a fanny pack of some sort.
Yeah.
Even though I align my zippers, I practice draws from there, I just have to train myself to understand that I do need space. I do need to use my striking, where a lot of our jiu-jitsu guys, our jiu-jitsu mates, will tend to find themselves in a fight and want to take them down, which I personally don't recommend, especially if you have that option of drawing a weapon. I tend to use strikes, and that's where a lot of fundamental flaws happen in quote-unquote self-defense. A lot of the jiu-jitsu guys, or a lot of our wrestler friends, don't train striking to create that distance in the streets, because like I always say, the streets don't play fair. So we have to understand all of our skill sets and what's actually applicable in the streets, not just in sport.
I found that a lot of people who carry concealed rely 100% on this gun. And when we test this, concealed carry, and somebody ambushes you or fights you, and you have zero ability to get to your gun, and they have zero ability to fight back, I think a big realization happens, and they go, oh wow, this gun really doesn't matter if I can't use it. So if you carry, you don't just have the responsibility to learn how to shoot, you also have the responsibility to learn how to defend this gun, which comes from these guys, right? You have to know how to fight, at a minimum have the mindset to fight, so you can create that space for your gun. So the last video that we had put out, there were a lot of comments, a couple different criticisms people had and they wanted to answer. People who hated off-body bags kept saying things like, well, if I leave the bag over here, it could get taken. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's not even an argument to me. We do want to consider two of the other arguments people had talked about. One is, what if somebody just tries to take the bag like a snatch and grab? We didn't really test for that last time. We tested on the pole straps. Angel and Zach did a 2-on-1, but we are specifically going to test today the snatch and grab. Sapao is going to grab the bag at some point and just try to run off with the bag from different carry positions, so we can kind of get a more informed decision on that. And then the other one is kind of a more real life scenario if we are being pinned for the gun, fighting away from it. And then lastly, I think we're going to do the 21-foot rule. 21-foot rule on the bags, because what we were finding in the last test was opening the bags under stress was kind of difficult depending on the bag. The bags that did the best were the bags that had some kind of gross motor skill, like oversized macro pull strap. Eberlestock in these two new bags have changed the pull straps in one of them, and the other one it's kind of the same magnetic release. So we're going to see if that's made a difference and if I can get it out faster, because the ones that had little tiny zippers, I had no chance, and I got beat up so badly because I'm trying to look for this tiny little zipper while somebody's running full steam at me. Absolutely impossible. So we're going to put these bags to the test. Thoughts, advice for me, or last words you want to say? Okay.
No.
All right, good. Now we're going to be testing the Fade Brief, which is kind of a modification of the old brief that I still run, hoping to move to this. And the drill we're going to be doing is the 21-foot rule, and the importance of this drill is 21 feet, 7 yards is about the minimum distance somebody who's somewhat prepared in their OODA loop, in their decision-making feedback loop, that they are ready to get the gun out and actually fight back. If you're walking down the street, your head's in your cell phone, 21 feet's not even going to be enough. And you'll see here with me standing ready to go, right? Standing ready to go. I'm going to have my hands here on my sides. I may not even get the gun out in that time. The gun that I'm using is a complete airsoft gun with an orange tip. It fires air. There's no BBs, completely blocked out. So never try this at home, but also never try this with any gun that's not either plastic or a complete dummy. Okay, so in that position, I got the bag taken. That was a really crappy feeling. Could I have kept pursuing to prevent him from getting the gun out? Yeah, but I would totally consider that an L. Big loss. Just got the bag ripped out from me. I started hands at the sides, and I stared straight ahead rather than prepping ready to go. Keep it a bit more realistic. I'm still vigilant. I still know something's about to happen, but I'm really not primed and ready. My hand's not on the gun. I'm not ready to go. And in that 21 feet, I grabbed here, struggled for that magnetic loop. I don't have a laptop in this. A laptop makes it more rigid. But what if you don't have a laptop in it? I do have a piece of cardboard to make it a bit more rigid. I got to here, but my hand, by the time I got in and I moved, he was on top of me, so that was a fail. Now for the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the bag here, and I won't have my hand inside the bag, but it'll be primed a little bit faster, and I'm going to see if that makes a little bit of a difference. Because when I do walk around the streets, if I see something that doesn't seem right, I do start to prep and prime, and sometimes I even have my hand in my bag like this, completely ready to go. And if I was standing like this, there's a 100% chance if he runs at me, I'll have the gun out before he even gets 5 feet away from me. But that's just not how I operate all the time, so we're going to give it a little bit more of a play. I'm going to hold here and see if that changes the speed a little bit. It did on the range.
Hey buddy, that's a nice bird.
your hands, show me your hands. So, in that one, it definitely went in my favor. Had a little sticking point getting the hand inside. And I would love to say it's training, but it actually is hard to get it inside under speed, under stress, because ideal world is my eyes go down and I look and I pick it in, but where do my eyes actually go? They go to that guy. That big dude coming at me is scary. I'm like this. I'm feeling for it. Still got it in, but he had gotten so close to me, I had to pretty much give up the attempt stationary and move my feet. Sapao, of course, played football in high school. He got his hands on me very fast, but I was able to turn my gun arm away from him, away from my opponent. A lot of times the mistake people make is whether it's their holster side or their gun arm, they'll turn into them and then their arm gets blocked. That's the fastest way when we're training students. We'll block them, is going to block their gun side or block their elbow. So I turned that away here, and then I was able to take some shots. So turn, shot a few times, he goes down. As I back away, I look, check my surrounding area, because just because there's one attacker down doesn't mean there's more attackers coming. So for the scenario that we're working next is if you get out of a car, there's always this awkward transition moment where as you step out of the vehicle, you have a backdrop like a wall. You're pinned against the vehicle or you're pinned against the gas pump. When I'm carrying an off-body bag, typically I don't put it on and then exit the vehicle. I typically grab the bag like this or with this hand, doesn't matter, and I step out of the vehicle. And that's whether or not I'm gonna walk inside and eventually strap it to my body or change, put it in my belt, and then walk outside. There's typically an awkward moment. What I do to help my situational awareness is always the 360 checks. I open the door and my head immediately goes to the blind spot, and then I step out of the vehicle. If I look to the blind spot and somebody's there and they're far, I can slam the door, lock, move on. If I look and they're right there, I can always back into the vehicle, use my legs to defend while I then grab my gun and fight out of the vehicle. But what I don't do is get out with my headphones on, looking at my phone, and just move on. Situational awareness is almost always the answer to the problems. Training, I think, is number one. Situational awareness is either number one or number two, depending on the circumstance. All right, so ignition, turn it off, grab the bag, open the door, open.
Oh, fucking bad. Oh, God damn. Help! That was a great hit to the face.
Oh, I had my guard down way on that. I held onto that bag as tightly as I could. He was fighting like a bear for it, but he was focused on the bag, so I tried to draw his attention away from the bag with strikes. Some point through the middle of it, I thought, I don't know if I've ever asked for help. So I asked for help. I yelled, help. Hopefully somebody around does, but the odds are, data will show you, nobody is coming to help you. I don't call that a win, but I also don't call it a loss because I didn't get the bag taken and I didn't get the gun taken. I was still stalling and I was still buying time, so pretty happy with the way that went. But definitely had no chance of getting the gun out in that situation. This is the Eberlestock Fade sling bag, and I've worn sling bags before. I like them. What I don't love about sling bags is every time I see a guy wearing a sling bag, my first thought is, I wonder if his gun is inside there. It probably is. All right, so we're gonna start it from here, and then the prepped or the more ready version of it will be hand on the zipper, ready to open and dive in for the gun. Okay, so my take on this bag so far was that zipper pull is so much easier than previous bags I've worked with. And the bag opens so wide, you can't really miss it. So that was really nice. I put in a little adapter in here, which is one of their little pouches. It's a Velcro pouch. You can put it anywhere in there, so it keeps the gun exactly where I need it. I was very thankful. I did not want to fight him again. I'm tired of getting punched in the face, so this was kind of a welcomed result. Really stoked about this one. Okay, that was absolutely much faster to get out. I had the gun probably 3 to 4 feet prior to, but I still wanted to move. I still wanted to get out of that corner because once again, even though you shoot somebody, it doesn't mean, one, that they're stopping, doesn't mean you're hitting them. You may be a terrible shot. But two, if they have a blade or some kind of weapon like a baton or something that's gonna hurt you, it takes time for people to expire. And quite frankly, if you shoot somebody once, let's say you hit them in the chest or belly, it may take seconds to minutes to days for them to expire. So I still want to get out of the field of running. The previous one, I kind of stood my ground, and I think that was a big mistake. This one, I rolled out, used my support arm to distance myself, felt just much cleaner. All right, now this last one we're gonna do is similar to the brief bag, where I'm going to get out of my car and immediately be confronted by Sapao, get pinned, and then there's gonna be a close quarters battle ensuing. He doesn't necessarily know anything that's inside of this. He's just trying to rob me. That's the primary purpose for his visit today. All right, turn the ignition off and open my door. Where do I start with this? This bag held up pretty well. I was hearing a tearing, 214, I'm 200, the force of the two pulling against, but there's a little bit of tearing in the seams of the cushion, but everything is holding up well. There's no bending in the metal parts. The nylon stayed pretty well. I think what I was hearing was just the loosening here of the strap itself. The bag being here, when you get pressed by somebody who's big and trained, it's scary because you're not getting the gun out, so I tried to create distance and space. He immediately started pulling the bag. That gives me an advantage to strike and be able to use my hands, but when you think about fighting, there's a lot to think about, whatever martial art you're doing. When you have a gun, there's a lot to think about, how to employ it, the tactics to use. But when fighting and having a gun come in for the same battle, it's so much to think about. I do give props to the bag. It was hard to get the gun out in that situation, but there's really not a bag on the planet that wouldn't be hard to get out in that situation. I'm a fan of this bag. All right, so Sapao, we tested 2 different bags. From the attacker standpoint, which bag would you prefer to own, knowing what you know?
Knowing what I know and the skills that I believe you developed on the mat and on the range, I honestly believe that this one's better. From my standpoint, as I was running towards you attacking, it seemed like you were more focused on fighting with the other ones, where here you were doing both, but you were much quicker with this. That bag alone did pretty well.
Yeah, it did. Like you may or may not have seen him after he got the bag off. He went for the bag, I jumped on top. We stopped the fight at that position, but the fight really isn't over. Like, you're still fighting for that bag. So a couple things that are super important are one, training yourself, not just relying on a gun. Even the best shooter in the world can't do anything if that gun is in the holster or in the bag. I promise you, as fast as you think your draw is, if somebody tackles you unexpectedly, you're not getting that gun out unless you know how to fight and move your hips, move your body. So training, number 1. Situational awareness, number 2. And then number 3 is actually training with the bag that you're gonna use every single day. So if I carry the brief, but then I'm just training on the range with this, it's really doing me a disservice. So carrying what you're going to carry. If you carry an off-body bag, let us know what you'd like to see. And if you don't carry off-body, are there any off-body bags you'd like to try? We are not sponsored by any of these companies. We show no preference or love to any brand. So we buy these on our own and we test them on our own. But if there are brands that you would like to see, let us know in the comments section, because that is how we are going to find out what the best bag is overall. We test these things every day here at the training center, and we find out what we love about them and what we don't love about them. So it doesn't matter what kind of gear you have, all the gear in the world, the fancy stuff, it doesn't matter if you are not training, right? You have to get out there and train with the stuff that you use. Even if it's not fancy, that's okay. You can be really great with a stock Glock, no sights, everything's gonna be fine as long as you train it. I wanna give a big shout out to Sapao, head owner and coach of Cabrinha Jiu-Jitsu in San Bernardino. Awesome dude and an awesome crew. If you guys are in San Bernardino, California, check out his gym. Really appreciate him coming out here just to beat me up. That was really nice of him. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and let us know in the comments section what you want to see more of, things you want to see less of. That's fine too. And as always, continue training, because that's how we move forward and that's how we progress.